to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a truly, well, an incredible thing to tell you about today. This puzzle on the screen is by the great Dutch grandmaster of setting, Ard van de Wetering, who has been responsible for the puzzles that have featured in, frankly, most of our biggest and most popular videos. And this puzzle is the 100th puzzle that we have solved by Ard on the channel. Well, I mean, hopefully it would be absolutely terrible if I can't do it. If I can't do it, Mark will get to do it later. But yeah, it's called 10 times 10 equals 100. It is by Ard, and well, I mean, I think we all owe, anybody who's been following the channel for any amount of time will know of the pleasure that Ard has sort of, released into the puzzle solving community, and for this to be 100 times he's done that, it's an extraordinary achievement. It really is. I mean, the biggest video, it must be nearly 10 million views it's had. So goodness only knows how many times people have solved the puzzle that was in the video that we called a Sudoku with only 4 given digits, only 3 in this one, which do add up to 10, I note. 7 plus 1 plus 2 is 10, so completely thematic. And as ever with Ard, one of the shortest rule sets. Ard is an absolute master of there's never any overcomplication. There can be complication with the solving, but the rules are always very, very standard. And just a unique brain. Celebrated his 80th birthday recently, and to still be setting with such aplomb, it is a testament to a man with just a huge IQ and just a huge amount of creative gifts as well. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. And Ard, thank you so much from Mark and from me for all you've done, yeah, well, how exciting is it to do the 100th puzzle? Anyway, what else can I tell you about? Let me look at my list. Well, yesterday, today is the 2nd of July. Yesterday we released a brand new competition over on Patreon. It's called Regeneration. I have got the league table. Thank you very much to Blobs, who's currently creating these pages where we can see. Now, unfortunately, I launched this yesterday. So this was at about 7 o'clock yesterday, and it went live at 4 p.m. yesterday. So at 7 p.m, some incredibly clever person had solved the whole thing, which is amazing. But let's see where we are now. I think it will have gone up. Look at that, nearly 1,000 after one day. It's incredible. 51 people have solved the whole thing now. Very, very well done to all those of you. It's sort of worm themed. Have I got a picture I can show? Yes, I do. There we go. Although my screen's moved around again. Here we go. Here's a picture of what's going on. So you sort of this Sudoku worm idea, where you solve one puzzle, it gives you a few digits for the next, etc. So yeah, definitely. I think worth your puzzling attention, and it's over on Patreon right now. The prize, which the competition closes on the 20th of July, and the prize will be the chance to make a Sudoku video that will appear on the channel in due course. So if that tickles your fancy, do check it out. What else? I've got birthdays to do today. Let's do those. We'll start off with Arik. Arik, you've turned 26 today, and I know this because your fiancée Emma wrote to us and told us that you watch every night. I think the two of you are in Sweden at the moment and hoping to move to Germany in due course. Arik, Emma tells me that she loves you very much, and I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today with, of course, a large slice of heavily iced chocolate cake. Next, somebody who's not really, I don't count what's the next birthday as chocolate cake, but Jace, you've turned 34 today. I think you're in Oregon, if I remember correctly. Your wife Brentney wrote and said that you might appreciate a shout out, and you love yellow cake with chocolate icing. No, that's just all wrong. You can't do that. Chocolate cake has chocolate icing, and oh goodness. But anyway, Jace, I still wish you a happy birthday, and I think you might have a son called Alistair who's been solving since, or at least watching the channel since he was very young. I want to say 5 or 6 years old, And Alistair's turning 11 later this month. So Alistair, this is an early birthday wish for you as well, and I hope you correct your father's cake wishes and you have chocolate cake with chocolate icing. That would be much better. Anyway, final birthday of the day is for Rhys. Rhys, your dad Matt wrote to us and said you might appreciate a shout out on your 30th birthday today. Now Matt also requested a birthday song. I can't do birthday songs. Maybe if I get time I'll do an introduction with a bit of music. I don't know what it'll be. I'm sort of at the moment I want to learn to play Diamonds and Rust by Joan Baez, and I've been doing a bit of Radiohead recently. And actually the thing I've been listening to is not, I don't think there's much guitar music available for Half Man, Half Biscuit. But if you enjoy Half Man, Half Biscuit, then you must check out their new album, which features a song called something like Falmouth Electrics, which is predicated on somebody who loses their job after a very long time working at Falmouth Electrics and finds a ventriloquist's dummy, and then sort of the ventriloquist dummy has its own personality, but it can't say the letter B. So its G's come out as B's. And it's all about that. And then the man gets very cross with the ventriloquist dummy, and so starts talking about, all the things he can do beginning with B. And it's total genius. It is, for anybody who watches our cryptic crossword content and has a love of language, I honestly think Half Man, Half Biscuit will just tickle your fancy. Anyway, that's all completely nothing to do with Rhys's birthday. Rhys, many happy returns. I'm sorry for talking about Half Man, Half Biscuit. Let's have a look. A 10 by 10 equals 100. 10 times 10 equals 100 by Ard van der Wetering, the great man. The rules are not going to take me long to read. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Each of the 10 lines contains digits that sum to 10. So there are 10 different lines, of course, right? So 10 lots of 10 equals 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there are 10 lines. So how can we do that? So those digits there have to sum to 10. Those digits there sum to 10. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So there must be something mathematical going on here, mustn't there? Yeah, I mean, you can't fill, like this 5-cell line here. I mean, those have got to be at least a 1-2 pair. Those have got to be at least a 1-2 pair. So that's at least 6 on the line. So that digit is at least, or a maximum of 4. And the sort of diamond shape is completely symmetrical. So I think each of those digits is no higher than 4. We'll start with that and see how we go. Oh, right, no, I'm not going to start there actually. 1 cannot be on that 3-cell line. So let's think about how we're going to make 3 different Sudoku digits sum to 10 if we can't use 1. They have to be 2, 3, 5. That's one of those, it's almost a killer Sudoku trick actually. Comes up a lot in killer Sudokus, but it is true. 2, 3, 4 would add up to less than 10 obviously, but in order to increase one of those digits by 1, you will have to increase the 4 to the 5, and that's the only way to do it. So the blue line now in the middle box, the middle digit is no longer a 2 because this would be a 7, and I am seeing a given digit for once, so that's not going to work. So this is either 6 or 4, I'm going to claim, both of which are possible annoyingly. That can't be a 2. By Sudoku. Okay, so it's Sudoku in the middle box. That gives us a 2 here. Ard, how can you possibly make me do Sudoku at the very start of your puzzle? That's outrageous. 2. Okay, so 2's up there by Sudoku. I mean, the sort of the petals or the glimmering of the diamond in the middle, they are not relevant, I don't think, or they'll be relevant late rather than early. It must be the massive diamond, mustn't it? Okay, let's bite the bullet. What is the mathematical minimum of the diamond? Because, yeah, okay. Those cells, the sort of points of the diamond, if I'm trying to add the total for the whole diamond, they're going to count twice, aren't they? Because that digit is on the sort of blue diamond, or the blue line, and the grey line coming out of the cell. So the bare minimum you could put in any of the sort of even boxes, those cells there, those cells, they're going to be a 1, 2, 3 triple, aren't they? Although not down here, but let's just go with that for the moment. 1, 2 and 3 would be 6 in each of these 4 boxes, so that's 24. And we know that the diamond overall must sum to 40, because it's 4 lots of 10. But this digit is on 2 lines, so if this was 1, 2, 3, yeah, the minimum you could put into column 5 would be a sort of a 1, 2 pair. The minimum you could put into row 5 would be a 1, 2 pair. So the actual minimum, ignoring this 2 for a moment, I'll come back to that. I just wanted to sort of get a handle on how constrained this is going to be 24, but then we've got to count these 2 digits again. So if they were a 1, 2 pair and these were a 1, 2 pair, that's adding another 6 to 24. That's 30. 30 is the minimum before we get to these cells. Oh, I see, but they can be 1, 2 pairs. Bobbins. So we're not getting very close to 40 actually, because they could be a 1, 2 pair, they could be a 1, 2 pair. So that's 36. I suppose this one can't be 1, 2, 3, so that could be 1, 3, 4, but that's increasing. But that is actually having a little bit of an effect. But if that was a 1, but it isn't having enough of an effect, is it? We're at 38 then. 1, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3 here. So it is a bit constrained, but it's not very constrained. I haven't got this yet. Sorry about this. I am not doing very well. We can... Have I missed something about how this is laid out? Is there something more profound? Like, is it necessarily the case? It probably is necessarily the case that each of these boxes has a 1 in them or something. I mean, if you had 2, 3, 4 rather than 1, 2, 3, I'm not sure. Because the 2 could still be in the pink cell. No, I'm not sure. Okay, what about this column? We've got a 1, 2 pair, so that these 2 cells are at least 3 and 4, aren't they? So whichever one of these, well, the thing is, I doubt that that's the minimum, but one of these digits, therefore, is at least a 4 on a 5-cell line that's meant to add up to 10. So let's just imagine that this was the high digit in that sequence. Let's just think what that means. So if this was a 4, those digits couldn't add up to more than 6. So, yeah, that is going to be constrained, isn't it? What I'm seeing there is that for these to add up to 6, well, these could be a 1-2 pair, that's true, but then these can be no bigger than 1 and 2. So there is a lot of pressure. In fact, so maybe that's not the idea. Maybe the idea is to think about, rather than do the whole diamond, do the sort of left-hand side of the diamond. What I'm thinking there is that adds up to 10, and that adds up to 10. So these cells add up to 20, but we're counting only one of them twice, which is this one. So if this was 1, 2, 3, that would be 6, 7 here, 10. Yeah, that works. Right, so the idea, I think, is that we have to look at the left-hand side of the diamond. We don't look at the whole diamond. That was, I mean, I thought it was going to be we have to look at the whole diamond, but it doesn't seem to work. But if we look at the left-hand side of the diamond, because we've got this 1-2 pair here impacting on those squares, we're actually at a bare minimum. Let me show you. I'm going to make these 3 and 4. I'm going to make these 1 and 2. I'm going to make these 1 and 2. I'm going to make this a 1, 2, 3 triple. And I'm going to, the double counted cell, I'm going to make a 1. So I'm going to, and let's double count, let's double check that I think what we're going to get here is 20. So we've got 3 plus 7 is 10, plus another 3 is 13, plus 5 is 18, plus this twice, because it's on 2 lines, that is 20. So that is where we are. And now, well, now I can do Sudoku. And art's going to make me do more Sudoku. Oh no, we don't get the 3, 5 resolved. 2 is over there somewhere. We're probably going to try the same thing, although I don't think it's going to work. I was going to say we're going to try the same thing on the right side, but the fact that the whole diamond didn't benefit from this sort of 1-2 pair makes me think it won't be as good. But we will check, obviously. Let me just think this through for at least a few moments. Actually, that's a 2. So that's a 1 and that's a 2. Maybe that's putting pressure on that cell, but we'll check that in a second as well. 1 is in one of those 3 cells. That probably has to be a 2, but again, that might not be true. What we should probably do, I think, is to work out what the minimum is in each of the cells on the right hand side of the diamond. So that is a minimum of 3, isn't it? And if that was 3, no, that can be 1. That's absolutely fine. So 3 and 1 here, they look like they can be a 1-2 pair to me. This is at least a 3 because it sees a 1-2 pair. That's at least a 2, so 2, 3, but that can be a 1 again. Bobbins. So what does all that add up to? I don't know, but I'm going to work it out. So now we've got 3 and 4, so that's 7, 10, 16, but this has got to count twice, so 18. So it's not as good. It really isn't as good. Bother. Yeah, and that makes sense, doesn't it? Because the whole diamond wasn't giving us nearly as much of a constraint. Now, okay, so what I've got to do now is be very careful. I actually want to get rid of some of the, or reinstall some of these old pencil marks, because these can be higher, unfortunately. Although maybe that one can't, because that's at least a 3, isn't it? So if that was a 4, that's too big, because 3 plus 4 plus a 1-2 pair is already 10. So that's definitely a 1-2 or a 3. Oh, I wonder if that has to be a 2. If this wasn't a 2, these two would be too big. It immediately fails, actually, I think, because this digit can't be a 1 or a 2. So if that's not a 2, whatever we make it, these are adding up to at least 7, aren't they? And then plus at least a 1-2 pair there, and then this digit blows the total. Right, so that's a 2. Sorry, that's probably been obvious to everyone for a while. So now on this stretch of line, I've got 4, so these add up to 6. And that, okay, and this is at least a 3. So this is definitely got to be a little bit reduced. It definitely can't be 4, and it definitely can't be 3, because then these would already add up to 6. So this is a maximum of 1 or 2. Oh, this is going to have to be a 1, isn't it? Because if that's a 3 plus, again, we're blowing the total. So this is 1. Another fairly obvious deduction once I got to it. Okay, so now let's actually look at this. These two cells add up to 5. And this is 3 or 4, therefore it must be below 5, and it can't be 1 or 2. So this is 1 or 2. It's very clever, this, actually. It's more intricate than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a global deduction puzzle when I first saw it, but actually it's not. You have to really work at these lines. Okay, so maybe we have to do something. Maybe that has to be a 1. That would be my best guess. I mean, if that's not a 1, it's a 4, isn't it? At least. And then we're on a 7 count, with this being at least a 3. So this would have to be a 0. Right. So this is a 1. And now I'm only on a 4 count, which means that these two cells have to add up to 6, and they could be double 3, because a double 3 there wouldn't see each other, would they? Although would that would put a 3 in the middle. It's probably fine. Right. So anyway, these two cells add up to 6. So this is 3, 4, or 5. Ooh. Well, that feels like it feels like it's trying to do something in that column, but it isn't a triple. It's not, actually. Right. Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. This digit is where we're going to look now. That is not a 1. That is not a 1, I'm going to claim. Because if that was a 1, I think both of those cells are 3. Because if this is 1, we know these add up to 6, so this is a 5 and this is a 3. But if this is a 1, this is a 2, and these add up to 5. So this is a 3. You get 2 3s there, so that's not a 1. I mean, it's not the most brilliant deduction ever for me, but it is a deduction. It was logical. So now if that's not 1, that's not 5. And now we still don't have a triple in the column. Oh, but I do have a 3 4 pair in box 8. Which... So those two digits are the same, because I've got sort of I've got that 3 4 pattern. If you can see those cells there, whatever this is, obviously these two are both the same digit. That's not this one. If this is 3, these are both 4. If that's 3, that would be 4. That would be 6. This would be 3. 3 3. But then we could have a 3 in one of those. If it's 4, this is double 3, this is 5, this is 3, and that would be 6. How on earth are the high digits ever getting disambiguated in this puzzle? Because you can see the diamond in the middle. The only things I've got on it are tiny little digits. So totally respect how tiny little digits can be placed throughout the grid. But so far as I can see, even if that's a 6, which it might not be, I've got 1 7 and 1 6. And yes, it's true that each of these is going to have one high digit on it. But it seems that does not seem enough to be able to disambiguate all of the 6, 7s, 8s and 9s. I'm probably talking nonsense, but it feels challenging. I have set a few Sudokus myself over the years, and I do not think that looks very, very likely to be true at all. Right, what do we do next? Let's try and find something. Right. Okay, this is not a 2. This is very pretty, actually. I'm not sure about the way I got rid of 1 from this cell, but getting rid of 2, this feels like an odd deduction. Because if this is 2, can you see this sort of 1, 2 rectangle here? So the point of that being, if this is 2, this is the same digit. So how can I show that? Look, this digit, whatever the colour is of that one, these two are different. So you can see that if this was a 1 or a 2, it would also be orange. So if this is 2, this is 2. But then the maths don't work, because those 3 digits are 5, and these digits are only 4. So how can that be true? It can't, because remember, these are the same digits. So what we're going to have is a situation where those 2 digits, which were the same because of this digit, are not, the maths can't work, if you like. Those 2 and those 2 have the same sum, and yet we're adding 4 to that sum to get 10, and we're adding 5 to that sum to get 10. It won't work. So I think that has to not be orange, is what I'm saying, and has to be 3. And if it's 3, this is 3. So this is 3, this is 4, this is 2, this is 1, this is 1, this is 4, this is 5, so this is 3, and that is 6, which is what I suspected it might have to be. And we have done the diamond, and we've done the X, and we've got 4 thingies to do. Thingy being the technical term. I can put 1 into box 1 there by Sudoku. There are 4 1s looking at box 1. Let's keep... there are 4 1s looking at box 9 as well. I think that has to be a 1. So I think Ard has been kind here, and we've got all the 1s. Let's see if we can get all the 2s. I would not be surprised, actually, if all of the low digits are determinable now. 2 is in one of those 2. I'm not sure, actually. No. Oh, come on. Hang on. What's going on now? 2 is in one of those 3. I'm not sure that's actually worth a pencil mark, but I'll risk it. Oh, no, that's horrible. Okay, so that doesn't resolve. Yeah, so presumably I've got 6 2s. Yeah, I've got 6 2s. I've got 3 2s to place, and this pattern won't resolve that. Right, let's try 3. Oh, 3s are better. Yeah, there we go. There's got to be a 3 here. There's got to be a 3 in one of these. And... I mean, 3 is in, whoopsie, one of those 3 cells. 3 is in one of those two cells. Chance of a 3 in the corner. I'm sure that doesn't count as a birthday song, Matt, for Rhys. Okay, so again, that's not working. Well, let's try 4. Oh, how could I have... I've hardly got any 4s in the grid. That is weird. Am I going crazy? I mean, there's no... Oh, no. I've got 1 5, 1 6 and 1 7, I think. Double clicking them to check, but that seems to be true. So this is absolutely astonishing. So basically, these thingies in the corners... Oh, well, okay. Yeah, this one here, it hasn't got 1 or 2 on it. So that is either 3 in the corner and 7, or 4, 6, which I guess is going to be either way, because we've hardly got any 4s or 6s in the grid. Okay, this one hasn't got 3 or 1 on it. So this is made up of even digits. So if it's got 2 on it, it's 2, 8. If it's got 4 on it, at least we get one improvement. It's 4, 6 in that direction. This one can't have 2 on it, apparently. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have got 1, 2 pairs looking at both sides of this. So it's either 3 in the corner with a 7, or it's 4 with 6. And then this one hasn't got 1. This is another even one, because it's not got 1 or 3 on it. So it's either got 2 with an 8 in the corner, or 4 and 6 again. So this is the same. Yeah, okay. So that's rather pretty, actually. Look, there's a 4, 8 pair in column 9. So a question we could ask is, where's 4 in this box? It's not there because of the 4, 8 pair. It's not there. It's not there. So it's in one of those cells, and that's good enough, isn't it? Because now this square is a 3 in the corner. So that's 3, that's 7. That's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. So this isn't... Oh, right, this is not 3 in the corner, but the 3 is really potent, actually. It plonks a 3 here, it plonks a 3 there. And now let's double-click the 3s. We've done all the 3s. And we've got an extra 7 in the grid through a pure process known as Sudoku. So I've got 3 7s now. I've got no more 3s left to place. I've not got 1 8 or 1 9 in the grid. And these aren't going to give me any 9s. Have I broken this? I've got a horrible feeling this is very strange. It's a very clever puzzle, but it's very strange. 4 is in one of those two cells by Sudoku. 4 in column 3 is in one of those cells. Those cells, you see, they're 5, 8 and 9. And we don't know any. We've got 1 5 in the grid to help with that. So, how does this work? So if this was a 4 in the... No, that's not... I'm not sure, actually. I'm not quite sure how to think about this. If that's a 6, then that's a 6. Does that break for some reason? It doesn't. I think, actually, it would place all the 6s in the... That's extraordinary. So if that's a 6, I think it places all the 6s in the grid, which is really weird. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 across here. We've got this 4, 8 pair in the column, so 5, 6, 7, 9. 5, 6, 7, 9. That's 5 or 9. Look, that does see a 6, 7 in the row. That's literally, I think, well, it's the only place that 6 and 7 will align in the puzzle at the moment. I mean, I am aware, I'm very aware I must be missing something. If that's 6, that's 2, and that's 4. So that would be 6. We get 6, 6. Don't know what that's doing. Good grief. Could I? No, the twos we thought we'd done everything we could with those, didn't we? Odd. This is really clever stuff, actually. This is very... I'm intrigued. I mean, it must solve. It's an odd puzzle, so it's going to solve. I just don't know how. What on earth am I meant to be spotting here? I mean, if... Okay, let's do another audit. We've done all the ones, haven't we? We haven't done all the twos, but we know that they're in a sort of funky pattern here that I don't think is resolved. It would be resolved if for some reason that had to be a 4. And that would have to be a 4 if that had to be a 4, which would mean this had to be a 6, which would be the same as saying this was a 6. So why is it the case then that this can't be 2, 8 in that? Why would that break? It would put a 2 here, it would put a 2 there, this would be a 4, that would be a... If that's 2, this is 8. 2, 8, 4, 6. I don't know. Sorry, I fear I'm missing something very obvious. It's not something to do with where 4 goes in this box, is it? If that's 2, 8, that's 4. 2, 8. But I don't think we know which way round that goes. I don't think it matters very much anyway. I think probably there would be a 4 in one of those 2 cells, and that looks okay to me. Right, so what is it then? 4, 7, 8, 9 into column 6? But it can't be that. It cannot be. There must be some trick. But that's a very easy thing to say. And I've definitely used all the lines, haven't I? I suppose I've got 4, 7, 8, 9 to place in the middle box. That's 7, 8 or 9. I mean, that's such a desperate pencil mark. That seems to also be 7, 8 or 9. And I don't know. Ard, you are very, very clever, and you have outfoxed me here. This is a disaster, frankly, though. I really, really wanted to be able to solve this. I have to get cleverer. Come on, Simon. What has he done here? I think it must be these somehow. There's some arrangement of this that doesn't work, but I don't know how to spot that. Is it to do with... I don't know. there's going to be some digit that's difficult. This column needs 5, 6, 7, 9. We know one of these. Oh, maybe this column, because there is a 2, 6 pair in it. Let's just check this column. 5, 7, 8, 9. No. The thing is, we know so little about everything. This 7 is taking 7 out of here. It's intriguing, isn't it? It really is. 4 is in one of those. I feel comfortable that's probably true. Let's double click on 7s again in desperation. 7 is in one of 3 places. Do we want to... Maybe we do have to start going towards that sort of thinking. I've literally got 1 6 in the grid. I've not done the maths wrong on any of this, have I? That's a possibility, isn't it? It's a terrifying possibility. Or I've underdone my Sudoku. Also a very common thing. Double check the... See, have we really only got 2 4s in the grid? Or is there some weird, like, bent Tripoli thing with... Oh, there could be. I'm not sure though. Okay, it must be something to do with... If that's 4, then we get 4s on opposite sides of the grid. Yeah, that's true, isn't it? If that's a 4, because this would be 8, that would be 4. So those 2 cells would both be 4. Is that a problem? It's nearly a problem, but it isn't quite a problem. Because you can put 4 here in box 7. It's nearly a big problem. And in fact... hang on. No, that's fine, isn't it? I was suddenly thinking that doesn't work here because this would be forced to be a 2, but of course that's an 8 in the corner if that's a 4. So the maths does work along here. But this would be a 2-4 pair. It's very forcing. It's very forcing. So these would be lots of even digits, 2, 4 and 6, and 5, 8, 9 in the row would have to go into those cells. And this cell wouldn't be able to be an 8, so that would be a 5 or a 9. And this column would have a 5, 9 pair in it, as well as a 4, 8 pair. And the digits we wouldn't have placed in the column would be 6 and 7. So there would be a 6 in one of those, and a 6 in one of those. And where did all this start? With this being 4, so in fact that would probably be 6. It would actually do an immense amount if that's a 4. So maybe that's not the answer then. Maybe this can't be a 4 for some reason. But if this is a 4, what do we actually get from that? That becomes a 2. So if that's a 4, that's a 4. This becomes a 2. So that becomes a 6, and that becomes a 4. So this is always a 4. That's crazy. I think that's always a 4. Either way round. That's really hard to see. And there might be another way to see that. But what I've just deduced is that if this is 6... It's actually really clever. It's really clever, and I just didn't see it the right way. Yeah, okay. So if this is 6, we know this is 4. We know this isn't 4, so we know this is 4. So if this is 6, this is 4. But if this is 4, because of what happens in this box, this becomes a 4. That shunts the 2 down here, makes this a 6, and still makes this a 4. So this is always a 4. I'm just going to see if I can see that a different way, because I'm just intrigued as to how that's ended up being the case. So that implies, doesn't it, that if this was an 8, something breaks. Let's just have a quick look at that and see if we can see. So it would be 6, 4 in this. I mean, you do have to go, I think you've got to go through the steps. I mean, there's going to be a 6 in one of these and a 4 in one of these under the alternative presumption. But you are going to get a clash of 2s in this row, which seems to be the key point. So anyway, let's go back to here. We've worked out that this corner digit is always a 4. So this is always a 6. Now hopefully this is going to do an absolutely remarkable amount of things. Although, oh okay, no, that 2 is useful. That's giving me a 2 here. So 2, it is useful. So the way that the 2s and the 4s filter round, no, I don't want to have done all of those. You can't solve from here, there's no 9s. No, I suppose they were never going to be, but how? I mean, this is bizarre. Right, anyway, let's double click our 4s. Do we now know? Oh yeah, we do. We know lots more about 4s than we did before. So how many? I see there, we've got this pattern of 4s left. Okay, so that makes sense, sort of. Right, 6s. We can, yeah, yes, actually 6s are better. Where's 6 in box 6? The answer is here. Whoops. And that seems to mean that that's a 6. Which seems to mean that that's a 6. Which seems to mean that's a 6. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So all the 6s get placed as a result of this. We're going to get left with these 5 7s. Oh, no. Oh, I thought I'd seen something, but I haven't. I've got an 8. That's a very exciting digit now. It truly is. 5. 5 can't be here. So 5 is in a domino in the top row. So what's that digit? That is 7. That's naked. That's a naked single. Because it sees 7 and 5, which are 2 of the digits we've not placed in box 3. So that's 9. So this isn't 9. This is now 5. Good grief. So this is now a 7 by Sudoku. That is not a 2. So this is, let's look, it's working. This is a 7, 7. So 7's got 2 possible positions, I think, in the middle box. Oh, this is really cool. If this just somehow solves now, and these 9s get disambiguated. What are those cells then? 5 and 7. Yeah, 9 in the top row we can just place. There we go. Right. So 5 and 7 here. 9 here, which is tremendously exciting. This digit seems to be 5 or 8 by Sudoku, just looking at row 2. These definitely aren't 4 anymore. 5, 8, 9 into these squares. This is bad. It's bonkers. 5, 8, 9. What's that one? Of course. Oh, look at this. It's 5, 8, 9 down the column. So these are 5, 8, 9, are they? Yep, they're 5, 8, 9. So this is, you've guessed it, 5, 8, 9. So this is all. This is. Oh no, that one's not 5. Yeah, we're probably going to have to be really, really diligent about this. Okay, so I've got 3 digits to place in box 6, and they are 7, 8, 9. And that's definitely not 7. I don't know if I can do better than that. I've got this as 8 or 9. Oh, this column? Yeah, that one's 5 or... Ah, there we go. There we go. That one's 5 or 8. That's a pair in box 2, look. So those have got to be a 4, 7 pair. No, no, no! That's not it either, is it? Because that's not helped me. Even knowing one of these is a 9 hasn't helped me. Good grief. Okay. Well, that's not good at all. At all. Hang on. That seems to be looking at that cell. Is that true? Because if that's true, that's an 8. Here we go. Here we go again. So this is 4 or 7 by the column logic. Now this 8. So now in this row, one of those is 8, which means this isn't 8. Which is potentially important. I promise you I'm trying to see why. Right, what's this? 4, 7, 8 or 9. 4, 8 or 9 only. It sees 7 in the row. So, this row has got 4, 8, 9 to place. So that's 4, 8 or 9. I'm going to end up with a fully pencil mark grid, aren't I? I'm not sure I can avoid it. That's 7, 8. Oh, no. Hang on. Let's check this row. This might be where the magic is. 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 8 or 9. So this is 4, 5, 8 or 9, I think. I think I've got a horrible feeling I've done something wrong here. I'm deeply sceptical that this solves. I just don't think we've got enough. I've got 2 8s. I suppose I've got 2 9s. It's more than I used to have. How many 7s have I got? I have got lots of 7s, and I think I've got all the 6s. I've still got 4s to place, and 5s. Let's try 5s again. I've got 2 5s in the grid. So, are we seriously saying I have to look at this grid now and spot things that are going to be useful? That is terrifying. That is a terrifying prospect. I've got nothing. Sorry. 9. No. I was going to say 9 in column 1. That is not a good thought. 9 in row 3. No, is no good. 8 in row 9 is no good. Sorry, I've got nothing again. I am scanning these rows and what I'm trying to do is to find either bent triples or 5. No. 5. No. No, it's not. I thought I'd seen an X-wing on 5s in those cells, but it's not. This can be a 5 and this can be a 5, so I haven't locked the 5s into position, which is what I need to do. Oh no, this is really terrible. This is terrible. Come on. 5, 8, 9, 4. Is it 4 somehow? Oh no, we've got this horrible pattern of 4s left. Is my colouring doing me any favours at all? No, it's not. I'm going to get rid of it. I apologise to those of you who are chromatically minded. I am normally chromatically minded, but I am 8. 8. Okay, that is something. 8 in this column and 8 in this column are in the same rows. That's going to get me 2 pencil mark removals. Yeah, so what that is, if you look down column 2 and column 4, those cells are the ones I'm looking at. Now that doesn't seem to have the option of being an 8. And this doesn't seem to have the option of being an 8. So if you ever get this pattern, this is the classic X-wing pattern, so it's just like this pattern, In fact, we might as well draw that in. That what this means is that the 8 arrangement in these two columns is either going to be an 8 here and an 8 here, or it's going to be an 8 here and an 8 here. One of those things must be true. And the crucial thing, if you ever find an X-wing, is to appreciate that although the pattern exists within the columns, because the 8s have been locked into the same rows, the effect of the X-wing is on those rows. And the way to understand that is to ask a facetious question about these two rows that the 8s lock into. And the question is, how many 8s are there in this row of the puzzle if we complete it correctly? And you're all going to say 1 8. And I totally agree with you. How many 8s are there in this row of the puzzle? And you're all going to say 1 8. So we have agreed, I think, that within the red cells altogether there are 2 8s. But we've also agreed that there were 2 8s in the orange cells. So there can't be any 8. This cannot be an 8. It cannot be an 8. This cannot be an 8. This cannot be an 8. Got a horrible feeling about this. No, it's good. It's good. It's done it. It's done it, hasn't it? Because now, look at 8 in this column. I can now put it in the puzzle. Good grief. That is quite a difficult thing. That is quite a difficult thing. I got an 8. I know there's an 8 in one of those two now. Oh, no, no, no. Come on. Come on. You've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding. I mean, this is still not done, I don't think. It isn't done, but I've got something else for you. I think this has been available for ages. Actually, maybe not. What were the options there? No, I'm wrong, actually. I am wrong. 9. 9 in this column is, I'm going to ask, it's exactly the same question. 9, I think, in this column is in those two cells. Let's get... Now, I'm going to leave my marking in for my X-wing. Sorry, I do want to retain that. But 9 is in those two. And look at this column. 9 is in those two. So it's the same point again. Now we can apply the same logic. So 9 can't be in these cells. So these are not 9. Now, what's that done over here then? So now, yeah, okay. So now 9 in this column is in one of those two cells, definitely, which means 9 is not there. Wow. I'm sorry, I still haven't got this. 9. No. I just keep thinking I've seen something. I can see swordfishes on 9s, but they don't look... Is that actually... That might be a useful swordfish. Is that a swordfish? No, it's not. It's not. I thought it was, but that one sticks out. Bobbins. Ah. This is hard. This is really difficult. It's really difficult. I don't know what to say. It's really difficult. I'm looking. I promise you, I am trying to do it. I just can't see anything. It's really, this is not, I haven't, haven't got anything at the moment. I'm starting to feel really like concerned. All I'm seeing are 5s, 8s and 9s all over the place in a most annoying way. And I can't see what to do with it. Five, 9, I can get rid of a... Yeah, there's a bent triple there. So this is a pattern I hardly ever do anymore on the channel. There are very few puzzles that seem to they use this, and that's quite a relief. But if you get this, so obviously if all these purples were in the same column, we'd immediately say, oh, that's a 5, 8, 9 triple. Now sometimes where they're bent at a right angle, you can still get a deduction. Sometimes. So look at this square. If that's 5, this is 9. If this is 8, this is 9. So what we can say definitely is that one of the sort of wings of this, I think it's called a Y-wing, but I call it a bent triple. One of those two squares is a 9, definitely. Now that means that square, look, can't be a 9. Because if it was a 9, this would be 8, this would be 5, and this cell couldn't exist. That's another way to think about it. So this digit is 7 or 8. Now, I'm now going to go into my cocoon again and try and work out if that does something. So 9 now in box 5 has been more restricted. 9... No, 9. I keep thinking I'm seeing an X-wing here. But I don't, because of that one. Which is terrible, isn't it? That is terrible. So if... Okay, that one. That is not a 7. That's the same point again, but it's actually a bit weirder. Because that is not a rectangular bent triple. Yeah, no, that's weird. Okay, but look at this square. If that was 7, can you see this would be 9 and this would be 8? Well, that's what would happen, and this square couldn't exist. So there might be another way of seeing that. I don't know, but it's clearly correct, isn't it? If this is 7, this cell can't exist, so this is 4. So that's 4 and that's 7, and at least I've got slightly more done. 4, actually that's 5 now. That seems to, I see, so I'm getting all, oh actually hang on, is that correct? Because that's actually really useful. I think that seems to be correct. So that's 5, but also that's 4. But this digit now seems to have to be 8. And that was originally our 8 X-wing, wasn't it? So now that's got to unwind the 8 X-wing there. That seems to have to be 9. In this column, that's become an 8. So this is not, let's be careful here. This is not 8. So that's a 5-9 pair. This is 8. This is 5. This is 9, this is 5, come on. Yeah, here we go. This is an unbelievably clever puzzle. It's, what a fitting way for Ard to reach 100. Oh, I've done it. I have done it. Oh, that's such a relief. That was not easy. It's taken me an hour and 4 minutes. Wow. That last bit... And the whole thing was fascinating. There was a point, there were many points when I was stuck. I got off to the wrong start. I didn't understand. There was this bit here where I managed to work out that this digit was always 4, which was really cool because of the way the sort of even digits flowed around the corners. That's made me wonder whether Fistimofel was somehow relevant, actually. But then that last bit was very difficult, for me at least. Anyway, I loved it. Is it correct? Yes, it is. Oh, hang on. The puzzle doesn't include the solution. So I hope that that's correct. Well, what the software will have checked that the Sudoku part was correct, and I'm just looking at the numbers around the lines here and checking that they do add. No, I thought that one didn't for a moment, and checking that they add up to 10, and I think it looks correct. So Ard, thank you very much, my friend. What a friend to the channel you've been. What a friend to so many puzzlers, and what a 100th puzzle. Please, if you've been with us for any amount of the journey and you've spent time in the company of one of Ard's puzzles, why not drop a comment and let the great man know how much he means to so many of us. Wouldn't that be nice? And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.